I wanted to make a video about resistance training, given that there's so much confusion around how much of it to do, what type of it to do, and how it's going to change someone's body composition. My name is Yasmin. My clients call me Yazzie, and I'm the owner of Yazzie Fit Coaching. I've been at this whole workout and weight loss thing for over 10 years. I've trialed and errored dozens, if not hundreds, of different types of methods. I've read countless books, articles, and purchased a lot of programs myself until I competed in 2 bodybuilding competitions in 2021 and 2022. Through that experience, I learned that it's not about bad genetics or the type of body that you have, but what you do and how you do it consistently. So as you can probably tell, I'm not competing right now. I'm not super shredded or lean, but what I have done is maintained a really significant change in my body composition, and I'm able to maintain it relatively easy. I currently work 2 jobs. I'm fairly sedentary in those jobs, and I don't get as much activity or nearly as much as I was during my prep. But for some reason, I'm able to maintain a significantly different body shape, all because of the changes I made in that time frame in my body composition. Now, what is body composition? Body composition is the ratio of muscle and fat tissue in the body, and it gives your shape and your appearance. So for example, someone who's 150 pounds with a very high body fat percentage, they're gonna look significantly different from someone who's the same weight at a significantly higher muscle percentage. Now, a lot of people experience this when they go on a weight loss diet or some kind of challenge, and they find that they get smaller and not necessarily improving the way that they feel and look about their body. This can actually be very detrimental, as I experienced myself several years back, where I dieted down the way that I thought I was supposed to do, and I definitely looked slimmer in clothing, but I found that I really quickly gained a lot of weight back because I also had lost muscle during that time. A few things go into muscle, and we'll get to that a little bit later. And now, what is resistance training? Resistance training is any load-bearing activity that uses the muscle and puts resistance on your muscle. People often get confused by this, but it really could be as simple as a body weight push-up. You're working against gravity, your body weight is acting as the resistance in that move, and then you're pushing up from the ground, and so you're pushing against resistance to do that push-up. This is similar to other calisthenic training like chin-ups or anything that requires your body weight against gravity. Training can also be anything with weights, physical machines, dumbbells, a couple of cans as people had done for home workouts during the pandemic. But it can also be things like resistance bands, loop bands, Pilates balls, anything that allows your body to experience an additional load. What this does is it allows your muscle fibers to contract, and it signals to the body that the muscles need to be repaired, strengthened, and depending on how many reps, sets, and just the type of resistance training you're doing, this can improve your strength, your endurance of the muscle, or your overall size of the muscle. So different types of resistance training can work towards different goals. So I'm going to go over the 3 areas that people get most confused about when it comes to resistance training: frequency, type, and program structure. Let's start with frequency. How many times should I be working out? How many times should I be doing weight training? How many exercises a week should I be doing? How many times should I be doing cardio? These are a lot of questions that often make people fall in their tracks or give up because they get overwhelmed and don't want to keep training. I'm going to lay it out straight for you. If you work a sedentary job, but you're relatively healthy, have no injuries or mobility issues, you can safely start to increase your training to twice a week from 0. If you're already a pretty active person or have some background in fitness and training, 2 to 3 times per week is hands down the most sustainable, consistent method to actually tell your body to actually build that muscle and thereby improve your body composition. Once you're getting enough nutrients and sleep, your body's gonna be in a more optimal position. You really have to then look at, can you do 2 times a week properly? These sessions should be effective, not just going through the motions. You should be really thinking about how the muscle feels during the movement. You should be really thinking about getting in effective movements, not just going through the motions. If you're getting in effective workouts, 2 times a week to start is fantastic. It's just enough stimulus to tell your body to start building the muscle, or if you're in a slight calorie deficit, to keep the muscle. Now, if you're doing 2 times a week, you'll be looking at doing full body movements. So hitting the full body in that workout. So if you only have time, or you're just starting out and want to do 2 weight training sessions really effectively, you're learning the basics of the mechanics of the movement, and you want to start signaling to your body that you're now in a resistance training mode, hitting the full body by incorporating more compound movements like squats, deadlifts, or multi-joint movements like lunges with lifts, those will be your friend. If you're able to do 3 times a week, you can start to do a bit more of a split. So that could look something like one day focuses on the entire body, and one day focuses more on lower body, and then the last day focuses more on upper body. Now, this can't be mentioned without saying you do use your whole body no matter what. So any movement, you're going to be engaging a bit of your core. And this is why ab exercises are really an accessory and are not required to see visible abs. But it's all about targeting and challenging specific muscle groups to allow them to grow, create your shape, and improve your body composition. Now, competitors and people going to a higher level of physique can do up to 5, 6, very rarely 7 times a week. You'll see this with competitors training 5, 6 times a week, and more seasoned competitors able to train 4 or 5 times a week, given that they're effective sessions. You'll see, though, that with these sessions, they're often more split up. So one day could be focused on really isolating shoulders and areas that those bodybuilders or competitors are looking to really target and maybe build. Those are details at that point. And then 1 or 2 of those days will be focused on legs or heavier areas that they really need to develop as they're getting lean. For someone who is not in a very compromised nutritional state or trying to compete at a level where tiny details that are often hard to see with the everyday eye are in play, you don't need to stress about doing everything to that level of detail. It's also very important to mention that I've seen a lot of people go from doing nothing to going to the gym 5 times a week at 5 a.m. only to stop and realize that it wasn't sustainable for them. Consistency is the best over a long period of time. Some of my clients had never weight trained before and have now been weight training for over 6 months, just because of the way that we've incorporated that consistency, and are enjoying significant changes in their body shape. Because it's sustainable and they're not kind of killing all of their time at a gym, able to work out from home, they're enjoying it and now just getting in regular hits during the week as their body continues to even get more refined and their goals adapt. Quick word about cardio. I would not include this at the beginning if you're already doing a lot of steps during the day. If you're sedentary, getting in a little bit of cardio every day or even after your weight training can be helpful because it helps with recovery from weight training, and it's also good for your heart. Your heart is a pretty important muscle in your body, but don't stress about including it very much. You can also do cardio on your off days. But again, it really matters where your nutrition is at and where your mindset is at. A lot of my clients will start with just resistance training and about, 8 to 10,000 steps per day just to keep it moving. And if they don't have time to get in steps, that's where they can include a little bit of cardio. It's all about the order of priority, as I like to call it. So your sleep, nutrition, recovery, resistance training, and then cardio. Use everything in the order of priority. The next thing we're going to talk about is type. So what type of resistance training should I be doing? Do you want to work out from home? Do you want to work out at a gym? How quickly do you want to see your results? Do you have any pre-existing injuries? And what do you like to do? Those can be very overwhelming questions to consider all at the same time. But the short answer is it doesn't matter so long as it's challenging your muscles. I like to incorporate a little bit of variety for my clients, keeping the baseline movements the same. So with baseline movements, you're looking at anything that works things in a compound way. So that could be things like chest press, squats, deadlifts, especially when someone's starting out and still building their physique. Then you can use any other form of resistance. They could be smaller dumbbells, bands. You can increase the blood flow and load to muscle groups strategically before doing something like a squat. Let's say you want to build your glutes more, then you can warm it up or activate them more by using those types of resistance training exercises before, or you can add them as accessory group muscles later So after you do kind of your most hard, your most difficult exercise first, you can then really get creative and work with whatever you have handy. Some of my clients use bands with handles and they go up in weight. So then that way they can always make sure to keep challenging themselves. Once something gets too easy, they can add a little bit more weight by increasing the tension on the band, and then they're able to keep going. Bands can be fantastic because unlike a dumbbell where it's adding kind of the same load down, with a band, it gets harder the higher you pull it up. So it works the muscle fibers in a little bit of a different way. So it's nice to incorporate a bit of the two so that you don't get bored, but that you also have options when you're traveling, when you're at home, and so that you understand that resistance can be a lot of different things. I recommend, especially at the beginning of your programming journey, to work with one medium at first. This could be a pair of dumbbells or like kettlebells or bands, and then working your way up to increasing that variety as you increase the frequency or time that you have available or understanding of your program. I have an app where I program custom training for clients depending on their lifestyle, how much training that they are able to do, and everything around that. So if you're confused and want something to follow along, just click the link below and I'll help you out. The third thing is program structure. So we talked about this a little bit in the second point, but how do you structure a workout? A lot of people will go to a gym and just get so overwhelmed by how many pieces of equipment there are there, and you really have to go back, tune out the noise, and think about your goals. If you're going in there for a full body day, start with the most difficult movement first, or something that requires strength from all areas, whether that's a big squat or a deadlift. And of course, if you don't know how to do those movements, I highly encourage you to watch a video. Right within the exercise, you're able to see the instructions, followed by some of the accessory movements. So if you're doing a full body day, that could look like a few sets of squats, a few sets of deadlifts or single leg deadlifts, some chest press, followed by some lateral raises, maybe some assisted pull-ups. And if you still have time and are feeling up for it, then you can include a little bit of core at the end as well. If you're really specific on an area of the body that you're looking to develop, let's say you have a really developed upper body and you just want to work legs, then focus on legs, but again, focusing on the compound movement first, something like a squat, and then maybe moving into a leg curl, either on a machine or at home using bands to just get kind of more isolated as the workout goes on. Now, a lot of the research points to doing a maximum of 4 to 5 exercises per workout. Now, this varies depending on the coach that you have, their philosophy, and why they're training a certain way. You see this also different across the map with high-level competitors. People aren't doing the same workout, so it depends on also how you and your body are responding. And that's why I have weekly check-ins with my clients to see how they're feeling, how their bodies are adjusting, comparing pictures, and also seeing how it impacts any sleep or nutritional choices and going from there. Sometimes it sounds boring, but keeping a base program that's working and then just increasing the load over time or even the quality of the rep, so that could be just how much you hold a squeeze in the movement, can be very effective at continuing your progress. So less really is more. Focus on quality always, not quantity, and then review your program weekly or every month to see what is going well, what you want to add, or maybe what you want to change. I want to make a really quick note about your lifestyle. So your overall stress levels, sleep, all of that really plays a role in your training. So if you're going through a really stressful period of time and you still feel a lot of pressure to be training 4 or 5 times a week, it may be a good time to maybe step back and do some longer walks, or cross-train with something like Pilates, yoga, just for a small amount of time and really focus on nutrition. If you struggle with something like emotional eating, binge eating, it's really important that you change your relationship to food first, focus on what's going on with your mindset, and then incorporate that into your training. I challenge you also, if you have perfectionistic tendencies, to really look at the quality of your move and not quantity. It's not about checking off a box. It's about how your actual body and mind are responding week to week. The people who are fit and happy the long term are the ones that look at it as a long game. It's not a 30-day fix. It's a lifetime thing. You can make incredible changes in 6 months. You can make even more incredible changes in 8 months, more. It's all about kind of how you look at it and how long you're able to keep it. Sometimes it will be challenging, but get through it. And remember that maintenance is always a bit easier than the way there. Never do anything too drastic. Work with your body, honor yourself, and when you need it, we all do, seek the support of someone you trust. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please check out my other resources. If you have any questions, comment below or send me an email at YazzyFitClients, and hope to see you here again soon. Bye.